Hello, everyone. It is our first major awards ceremony of this season, the Golden Globe Awards. Usually known for chaos this year, we'll see entirely new voting body, probably going to have entirely different taste. We'll see how that goes. I'm thinking they're going to have a more criticky taste, as you saw with my predictions. I'm rooting big for specific films such as, or specific person like Charles Melton, hopefully in supporting actor. Probably going to be one of the first categories. But yeah, without further ado, let's just see how this goes. Okay, first up, we got supporting actress. I think it's just going to be Divine, but there could be a surprise. Who knows? Let's see. Divine Joy Randolph. Very deserved, very deserved. Great performance in that film. I think she's just going to sweep the whole season, deservedly so. Yeah, nothing too crazy so far. Next up, we've got supporting actor. This is a big one for me. I'm hoping it's Charles Melton. Maybe if they behave a little more critically, like I'm expecting. Um, it could easily just be Robert Downey Jr. or Ryan Gosling, either or. I think it will be one of those three, but I'm hoping it's Charles Melton. Let's see. I mean, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, I mean, Charles Melton gave the best performance of the best supporting actor performance of the year, but I honestly never expected him to win the Oscar. But I think this was probably the best shot he had at winning an award, and unfortunately, he didn't. But you win some, you lose some. Robert Downey Jr. An important part of Oppenheimer. Maybe not even the best supporting performance in that film, but don't want to be negative. Focus on the positive. Um, Charles Melton was nominated. At least that happened. But yeah, damn. I think the hope for a Charles Melton Oscar win has probably disappeared. I think it's just going to be an RDJ sweep. But I like most of the other frontrunners in the other acting categories, so I guess it makes sense that I wouldn't be a huge fan of at least one of them. I guess that's where I'll land this year. He's fine, people. He's fine. Like you don't recognize him. It's transformative. I don't know about that at all, really. But he's Robert Downey Jr. He's overdue. He gave a decent performance in a huge billion-dollar grossing Best Picture, probably winning film. So it's gonna happen. I'm just coping, I guess. Let's move on to the next category. Okay, after a long bout of deserved TV wins, we are now back into the film categories. Not reacting to the TV ones just because I think they're going to be pretty expected. I think it's just going to be a bare beef succession sweep. So, screenplay per film. I think I predicted Poor Things. This was the hardest one to predict. It really could be anything, like any of like the top 4 or 5. Honestly, I think it could be Poor Things. It could be Barbie. It could be Past Lives. They could maybe want award killers here with Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't think it'd be. I don't think it would be either. What is left? I don't think it'd be Anatomy of a Fall, or I feel like I'm missing something, but it's probably either Poor Things or Barbie if I were to guess. But we'll see. What? Amazing. One of the best films of the year. Maybe the best screenplay of the year. One of the best screenplays of the year. I just thought it had no chance. Um, Inspired. Whatever you did to change the voting body, keep doing it. Because that is a great choice. That is wow. I think I ranked that sixth. I didn't really think that had a shot, but that is one of the best screenplays of the year. One of the best screenplays in that category. One of the best films of the year. It's probably going to win non-English language if it beat Past Lives here. Maybe even who knows, Sandra Hüller could win an actress. Maybe they're just like actually like just living up to the name of Hollywood Foreign Press. Maybe it's like with the new voting body changes, that's actually what they're going to be. So, wow, 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 wow. Okay, okay, okay. After a few other TV categories, now moving on to non-English film. I think it's just going to be Anatomy now. I thought I predicted Past Lives, but Anatomy just beat it in screenplay. So it's probably going to be Anatomy. Deservedly so. Top 4 film of the year, people. Let's see. Anatomy of a fucking fall. Sandra Innocent. Um, just wanted to say that Uh, amazing, amazing. Moving on to another pretty expected category, animated feature. I think it'll probably be Spider-Verse. Um, they gave it to I think they were, like, the first award ceremony to give it to Spider-Verse that year when everyone thought it was gonna be Incredibles 2. Thank God Spider-Verse won that year. Incredibles 2. Yeah. But this is not the place to talk about that. Yeah, Spider-Verse. Um, if it's gonna be anything else, it would be Boy and the Heron, but I think this is just a Spider-Verse sweep. They did give it to Boy and the Heron. Okay. Huh. Wow. Wow. I still have not seen Boy and the Heron. I'm so sorry. It never played near me. Blame my local theaters, and it's not available anywhere to watch online that I'm aware of. So I need to still see it. I'm sure it's very deserved. I love the Miyazaki films I have seen, and everyone who I know who has seen it has really enjoyed it. So I need to see it. But that's a bit surprising, I would say. They're really living up to like Foreign Press Association. And why do I keep hitting this desk? Being more criticky. So Golden Globe, why you kind of have taste this year? Why are they kind of eating every other critics group out? No, up, not out. Moving on. Doing this a little earlier than I expected. Director. We've barely even hit any of the acting categories. I think we should kind of save that for a little bit later in the ceremony, like we do at the Oscars, respect a little more. But I mean, it's a pretty expected category. Get rid of a pretty expected category, save some of the ones more prone for surprises. This is Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer has won a Golden Globe. Um, I don't know if he's won one before, but he's going to win an Oscar, which he hasn't won before. Yeah, sweep. Actress, comedy or musical? Got Michelle Yeoh from last year presenting. Um, I imagine it's just going to be Emma Stone because I did before tonight after my prediction video switch my comedy prediction to Poor Things. Just because I found it weird that I was predicting Barbie, if someone commented this, to just win with original song as its only other win. So I switched over to Poor Things because I think Emma Stone is going to win actress here. I also thought it was going to win screenplay, but that didn't happen. So who knows? It's either her or Margot. I think it's probably her though. Emma Stone for fucking Poor Things. Why did I say it like that? I just cringed at myself. Um, Deserved one of the best performances of the year. Our voting in this category, I would honestly maybe voted for Natalie Portman, but Emma Stone, also incredible. One of the most charismatic, funniest people on the earth. I would marry her if she wasn't already married, and if I wasn't ugly, and if I had a shot, which I don't. I'm tired. Okay, this is a big category. This is a big category. Drama actor. I went with Murphy. I think I've come to the conclusion, I think like a month ago, that Cillian Murphy's just going to sweep this season. He's going to win here. I think he's going to win SAG because that is the most populist voting body, and more people have seen Oppenheimer than even came close to seeing Maestro. Didn't even hit Netflix's top 10 people. Um, Oppenheimer made $1 billion. He's going to win here. He's going to win SAG. He's definitely going to win BAFTA unless they have like an anti-Irish thing. The Brits maybe because they do have there's a little beef between those countries in case you didn't know. Um, but I doubt that's going to be a thing. I hope not. So Cillian Murphy sweep. If Bradley Cooper wins anywhere, he wins here. But I'd like to see Cillian Murphy win. I'd like to see Andrew Scott win if we're being honest. But I'm gonna be a realist. I'll take it. I'll take Cillian. Two bit. What? Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer. Second best lead male performance of the year after Andrew Scott. I need to see a few other films, but as of now, second best. Great last name. Great actor. Short king. Stunning, piercing blue eyes. Amazing performance. I will be so happy when he wins the Oscar because justice will have been served and the right people, the right person will have one very underrated actor will finally have time in the spotlight. On to another likely Oppenheimer category, original score. I think it's gonna be Ludwig, but the Golden Globes have done some weird, wacky shit in this category before. I don't think they will this year because they have a different voting body, so they might just do Oppenheimer. Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer. I mean, it is one of the best scores of the year. I don't know if it'd be my favorite, but I mean, that "Can You Hear the Music" track, when I hear that, I hear the music and I ascend. Or staying in the music categories, Andra Day and John Batiste should be hosting this show. They have amazing banter. I think John Batiste might be drunk, maybe not, but they're doing an amazing job. Oh, what was I made for? Is I obviously gonna win. I think it's sweeping. Some people think it's I'm Just Ken. I just think you're wrong. And I think you're about to be proven wrong. Exactly, exactly. Best song in that film, if I must say. I feel like, at least amongst film Twitter, that seems to be an unpopular opinion. Um, I just think it's by far and away. I mean, Dance the Night is also a great song. I'm Just Ken is fun. I don't think it's a great song, but it's fun. But what was I made for? Like, I tear up every time I listen to that, just thinking about it. I could like cry with those lyrics. So deserved. Um, I think I'm already starting to. So very deserved. I guess I should react to this in case it's something surprising. Box office, this stupid category, whatever the freak it's called. It's another long title that they were just talking about. I think it's cinematic and box office achievement, whatever the fuck that means. Um, I predicted Taylor Swift. Went on a limb there just because. I mean, she's here. Yeah, I feel like maybe they told her like, "Hey, Taylor, we've got a little something for you." She might not. She might have gone to the whatever football team her boyfriend's on that game. Because I think that's happening tonight. I wouldn't know. She might have gone to that instead if she didn't know she was going to be winning here. Okay, they are giving it to Barbie. Okay, I mean that makes sense. Honestly, more in Barbie pink today. Smart little Barbie. That makes sense because like Taylor Swift was a box office achievement, but it's like a concert film. So if you're like voting for like film box office achievement, it's Barbie. Made like $1.5 billion. Everyone, this fucking desk, wore pink to go to the movie theaters, dressed up. Action comedy musical. Giamatti. I think that's really it. I think it's that simple, guys. I think it's that simple. Paul Giamatti for Holdovers. Amazing performance. I would love to see him win the Oscar. He's like maybe like my fourth favorite lead actor performance of the year. I do like Killian more, but Giamatti is incredible in that film, and I'd be very happy to see him get some recognition. I feel like he's very underappreciated. Um, yeah, I feel like if there's actually a number two to Killian, it's Giamatti, guys. It's not Bradley Cooper. No, no, no. Giamatti's in a much stronger film as well. Um, and I think there's a lot more love there than there is for Maestro, Minestrone Soup, however you people want me to say it. Um, yeah, I'm very happy for Paul Giamatti. Lovely man. Haven't met him, but lovely man. Comedy or musical film? I've switched to Poor Things, but could easily just as well be Barbie, because we haven't seen who wins. Comedy slash musical film. I predicted Poor Things. I switched to that a few days ago. Could easily just be Barbie, but I think because Emma Stone won actress comedy slash musical, I feel pretty good about it being Poor Things, but we'll see. They did just give the box office bullshit thing to Barbie. So maybe, I don't know. Let's just see. Poor Things. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Very deserved. Great film. Great movie. I still don't think it really has much of a shot at winning. It's really only shots at winning an Oscar is Emma Stone, I think, really. Maybe production design or Emma Stone. That's really it. This one's got a little suspense to it, just a little bit. I think it's going to be Lily Gladstone, but Nine of a Fall has done very well here. Sandra Huller, my favorite lead actress performance of the year. I would love to see her win because she hasn't been winning a ton of critic awards so far. She's actually won a lot less than I would have thought. Lily Gladstone has been the critics awards sweeper, rightfully so, because she's also amazing. Emma Stone has also been doing decent with critic awards, also amazing. It's really, if it's any of those three, I'm happy. It's like all amazing choices. Um, I think it'll probably be Gladstone still, just because she is the critic sweeper. But we'll see. There's a little more suspense now. Lily Gladstone, amazing, amazing. So deserved. She does so much in that movie with just her eyeballs, like ocular acting, just like Killian Murphy. I love how we're recognizing more subtle performances so far this year. Killian Murphy, like, especially compared to Bradley Cooper, so ocular and like more subtle and like deeply. It's very similar to Lily Gladstone, deeply captivating with just the smallest of things. Um, Yeah, I love how that's what we're I mean, even Divine Joy Randolph in, Holdovers, I think, is not as showy as a lot of recent supporting actress winners, but there's a lot of quiet, amazing, subtle acting moments, in that performance. And supporting actor, let's just not talk about that category. Okay, we're doing drama film now. It's yeah, this is the last category. It's Oppenheimer. I wanted to also mention Lily Gladstone got just as good of a standing ovation as I think Emma Stone got. That's a I don't even know how close it is. I'm leaning Gladstone pretty. I think potential sweep has begun. If she wins SAG, it's like I mean SAG is going to be the most important precursor anyways this year, but we'll see. I feel pretty good about her winning. But drama film, there's not a lot of suspense here. It's Oppenheimer. Is Abby. Let's see. Oppenheimer. I'm not mad about it. It's in my top 10 films of the year. Probably not my favorite here. Maybe it is. I don't know. I do love me some Anatomy of a Fall. Yeah, very deserved. Not too crazy so far tonight. I'm gonna invite Antony over and we're gonna do a little discussion of all the things that have happened. I missed a few categories. I took a few swings with Charles Melton. Charles Melton. You are the winner in my heart. I'm gonna have PTSD of seeing Charles Melton continuing to lose to Robert Downey Jr. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, that's my big swing. Hello, everyone. The Golden Globes have just ended, as you can have seen by my reaction, probably. I'm joined by Antony. At the end, we've seen all of the winners, all of the speeches, Hollywood's first big night, all the winners. What are your overall thoughts on the ceremony, the winners, big surprises, anything, Antony?
I mean, as far as the winners go, I thought they really did quite a handsome job as
Yeah,
picking out really interesting picks. I think some of the picks that we predicted, but nonetheless deserving winners.
yeah.
I think it was really interesting given the new voting body we have for the Golden Globes, the makeup, and just trying to determine where what's their temperature, where do they lean
Hmm.
in. I think one race in particular that was going to be very interesting was Best Picture Musical or Comedy. I think that
Hmm.
was really where we were going to get a sense of who they were. Are they Barbie or are they Poor Things? And I
I think
predicted Poor Things.
Old Globes would have gone, I think, Barbie, but I think
Yeah,
new foreign, more criticky Globes went with Poor Things. You can see that in Screenplay even. They went with
yeah,
Anatomy of a Fall over all of them, besides Past Lives, like more American English language
definitely.
films.
I just think that the
So,
fact that you had The Favorite lose to Green Book for Best
mhm.
Picture, and now you have Poor Things losing to Barbie, I think that shows the type of voting body we have. As you said, Anatomy of a Fall overperforming, very happy it
That
won.
was the big surprise of the night, I
Yeah.
think.
Did it
I
win?
had that ranked 6 in the Screenplay category. So,
I I
not good
had
for
my
me.
eye out for it because I knew it was pretty sure to win that Best Foreign Language, or
Mhm.
it was foreign
I thought
language.
Past Lives, non-English, whatever they call it,
Non-English,
yeah.
whatever the category was. I did think it
Yeah.
would, pull off the win there. I had a feeling. And so I kept my eye on it. But I think that with Best Original Song and with the Best Cinematic Box Office Achievement, that kind of
Yes.
was the boxes that it could tick for Barbie. I think both of
Mhm.
us went with Taylor Swift just because we didn't
She
understand
was
what the
there.
category meant, and we just
Yeah.
assumed that it was a way to get her on stage. I mean, if the it was definitely an achievement what Barbie
Yeah.
achieved, but it still is. If they're just going to give it to the highest grossing movie of the year, like, well, then why
Why
even
is this a
nominate other
thing?
people?
Yeah. Yeah. I do
um,
wonder if maybe that wasn't even a category that they had to vote for, if Barbie maybe even had a better shot at winning comedy
yeah,
musical. But I do think their taste leans much more towards Poor Things rather than Barbie.
yeah, it's, especially with this new voting body. But yeah, I mean, as far as the acting winners, I personally felt that they made the right call across the board. I
Hmm.
think that, whether, I liked one performance over the other, and to be honest, a lot of my favorites did win. I think that they made the right call. I think they awarded the people that I think this award will matter the most to when it comes to their careers. You look at somebody like Lily Gladstone to Divine Joy Randolph, these awards change their lives, because
Yeah.
I know it's a Golden Globe, but it'll lead them to SAG Awards and hopefully the Oscars. And that will change. It's everything we talked about last year with Everything Everywhere and what that ensemble was receiving. So I think that it was a great night as far as the winners went. I think it was actually really great speeches from a lot of people. I loved Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan paying a tribute to Heath Ledger and finally getting to see
Hmm.
Emma Thomas, giving her the respect that she deserves as
Yeah.
the producer who's been with him since Following every step of the way, deserves her
Hmm.
flowers, and I'm glad she got that. I think
Yeah.
would you agree Lily Gladstone might have the speech of the night? I thought it was
Possibly. I thought it was very, very impactful. I think, yeah, I think I would give her speech of the night. I
yeah,
think Killian Murphy and I loved Paul Giamatti shouting out teachers at the end of his
teachers.
speech. That was, I think, a nice highlight as
Yeah,
well. But I do think Lily Gladstone definitely, I think, had the most impactful speech, which I
yeah.
think only
Did you learn
helps her
something?
chances more.
You
Hmm.
learned something.
Yeah.
It was like watching Origin. I was like, "I'm so happy," and yet I'm being educated at the same time. It was great.
And she had
And
her
I
mom there.
Yeah, and then for me, I mean, Downey has never been cooler. I just loved he just went up there. It was great, made everybody laugh. I think, honestly, I give him a lot of credit because I think after and we'll talk about it, some other jokes, if you could call them that, he definitely came in and kind of tried to salvage the room a little bit,
Yeah.
the atmosphere, and I give him
Yeah.
credit for that.
In
And then
terms of the ceremony, I don't think the host did an incredible job. I think maybe they should try hostless again. But
well,
supporting actor, I did like his speech. I liked how he it seemed like he shouted out Christopher Nolan in his speech, and then Christopher Nolan in his speech shouted out Robert Downey
yeah,
Jr. at the start. So it was a
I
little
don't know,
mano y
brother.
mano. But yeah, I mean, great speech. Once again, I was rooting and hoping for, and I also predicted Melton. I think this was probably his best shot at a win this award season. But I think now begins the Robert Downey Jr. most likely sweep in this category. And I think we've also begun the Killian Murphy sweep in the Best Actor category. We've been on this for a little bit. I know this might persuade other people because I think this is the best shot. Just like Charles Melton had a shot at winning in supporting actor, I think this was Bradley Cooper's best shot at it and a win in an award ceremony. Because
Yeah.
I think
I
SAG,
think SAG, frankly, I
but
think maybe
a lot
but
more
more people have
people
seen
will have
Oppenheimer, so
seen
it's tough.
Oppenheimer. Maestro never even hit Netflix's top 10. Oppenheimer made
Yeah,
nearly $1 billion. And SAG is a very populist voting body, and everyone in that voting body has seen that movie. So I
yeah.
do think Killian
And you
he's definitely
and
winning
you
BAFTA too. I mean,
you look at where people like when SAG has had upsets, you look at like 2017 for 2016
mhm,
films, where Denzel Washington was able to pull off the upset for Fences over Manchester by the Sea. But I would argue Fences was probably the more popular movie, and Denzel Washington is the more popular actor. I
yeah,
think Cillian Murphy, Peaky Blinders is an
mhm,
incredibly like popular show, and like people
yeah,
and it's the type of show that I think people really do hold on to. As Margot Robbie said, you've either
yeah,
loved
exactly.
Peaky Blinders or you haven't seen Peaky Blinders, and I think that will help
Mhm,
him at SAG, and then the fact that he is in the highest grossing, drama of the year.
mhm,
Uh, yeah, I think the 2 categories that we disagreed on were, screenplay and supporting actor. I think we were uniform.
yes.
Everything else
Yes,
we
I
agreed
did. In the video production, I went for Barbie for a comedy musical, but I switched over to Poor Things before
yeah,
we
okay.
did that. So yeah, I think the main things I missed were supporting actor, screenplay, box office, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think everything else kind of went as expected.
So I'm
But
glad
yeah,
if it meant I pulled ahead of you, it was with Robert
you
Downey
did.
Jr. I got
You
to
did. Yes,
I got to pull
with RDJ.
second year running where I can look to a Marvel star to
Hmm.
help me.
To win she gave him the Golden Globe. So
Yeah,
there you
that
go,
was nice.
alongside Jared Leto.
Um,
Um, but yeah.
so should we talk about this is what I don't understand.
Hmm.
You have Kristen Wiig and Will Ferrell who always come out
Best
and
joke of the night.
but like John Baptiste and Andre Day, like the presenters
They
were
were
on
awesome.
fire,
Yeah.
which meant that this is where I think it was most egregious.
Hmm.
Unless they're writing all their own bits, there were writers and they were very funny because all these people were
Hmm.
being very funny. So this
Yeah.
I thought that where the host, Joe
Joel
Coy, really
Coy, I believe.
lost
Yeah.
it, was throwing his writers under the bus and then saying, if you're laughing at a funny joke, it's because I wrote it. I think at that moment on,
Yeah.
it was tough.
Yeah.
And I do think that if we're going to point to a moment, I know many people will say the monologue was it. When he did the Taylor Swift joke and Taylor Swift then took that drink, that was it.
Hmm.
It was over.
Yeah.
I would almost, I would not put it past the HFPA to like go to him, like, because he stopped doing jokes. Like he presented Andre
He
Day and
disappeared.
that. I almost feel like that might have been like, all right, we need to just kill it, because I've never
Yeah.
seen a performance like this. Even Hassan Minaj,
Yeah.
when Kate Blanchett was
Everyone
ducking
hit under the table.
tables,
Yeah.
like that makes that look like child's play compared to this
Mhm.
performance. It was just, it
Mhm.
was really baffling. It was, I
It
couldn't
was they picked him last second, so I do kind of have a little I don't know about sympathy, but it was like a very last second thing. I think it's usually much more planned out than this. So I think they should have really just gone with a no host thing because, like you said, all the presenters were
they're
pretty
funny.
good. I mean, Carrie Russell, and who was she
And
with
Ray
him? Ray
Romano, they were
Romano.
great.
That was another great duo. Yeah. So
And the
all the
speeches
presenters
were
were good.
funny. Like, that's the other thing. I
Mhm.
think that the show moved. It was in 3 hours. We didn't stop to do the
Yeah.
Cecil B. DeMille Award or the Carol Burnett Award for comedy,
Mhm.
you know, and we didn't have to do all the Best Picture clip packages. I felt that the show itself was fun. It just had this big iceberg in the center where I
Yeah.
think anytime he came on, and again, it's a tough gig. It's a thankless gig in
Mhm.
many cases, but I also think the Golden Globes, even more so than the Oscars, they get great hosts, whether it's, I mean, the holy grail of Tina and Amy are
They're
fantastic.
the
Tina Fey and
best.
Amy
Yeah.
Poehler, they're the best. But Seth Meyers, I thought, was fantastic, and he was
Mhm.
dealt the Me Too
Yeah.
year, and he managed to make a flawless run with that
Mhm.
performance. Jimmy Fallon had a great opening when he did the Another Day of Sun. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
Gervais even, it's his best.
Yeah.
My favorite comedic bits of his has been at the Golden Globes. So
Mhm.
it's tough for me because I do think that it's a thankless job, but also there are a lot of people who have made the Golden Globes their own and made it fun. It's a
Mhm.
party atmosphere, and I think it was weird that he didn't seem to understand why everybody was in the room, like why they like the Golden Globes, why we like watching the Golden Globes, and then the jokes
Yeah.
are just very one note. It's just like
Yeah.
Greta Gerwig reacting, like she made a whole movie about how Barbie is more than boobies, and she has to sit there listening
Yeah.
to a booby bar, like just didn't read the room. I thought it was, but it
Nope.
shows you a
Nope.
host sets a tone, man.
Yes, yes, and I think that's why probably the Oscars are sticking with a very safe choice with Jimmy Kimmel, which I mean has proved to be a pretty decent choice in previous years. He's a safe choice, but I think he helms the ship very well. So yeah, and
His
they also have a lot
equivalent
more time.
joke in of like it was the Babylon joke last year, and he did one, and
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
argue it's, it's got a little humor to it, but then he
mhm.
doesn't do that the whole night, and I think that's why
Yeah.
Kimmel, you get the sense that Kimmel
It's about
loves being
celebrating the movies,
and he's
not making fun
celebrating
of them.
movies. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I
it's not
personally,
worth it to make fun of them.
it's why Gerard Carmichael I had issues with last year, because it didn't seem
Hmm.
like he wanted to be there. And I understand there's
Hmm.
politics involved, and the whole, the controversy with the HFPA is of course important to touch on, but also like if you're in the room, the people there, like, especially if they're winning awards, like come on, like they want to be there,
Yeah.
and it's a celebration, and it's about the movies, about the art, the politics,
Hmm.
try to push that aside. So that's why
Yeah.
again, Tina and Amy, perfect. Always will be.
Also, I think worth mentioning another category that I imagine we both missed, but that we didn't bring up. Animated feature didn't go
Yes.
to Spider-Verse, went to Boy and the Heron. Another example of them being more of a foreign press, maybe a little more criticky. I do think it's a two horse race between them for the Oscar. I think it's still going to be Spider-Verse, but I think Boy and the Heron is closer. I don't think it's going to be like just Runaway. It hasn't been Runaway so far.
Yeah,
But,
well, it should
but
be
I would still
noted
lean
the
Spider-Verse.
HFPA have never given a sequel, have never given the same
No,
franchise multiple awards. Toy Story 3 won, but Toy Story 4 did not. It lost a missing link
missing the
that
link.
year.
Yeah.
And so Spider-Verse would have been the first sequel or just
Hmm.
second film in a franchise to win.
Yeah.
And so that might have tipped us off a little bit. I think we were just going with how popular the film is, and that, I think
Hmm.
artistically this one gets a lot of credit for its animation style. And I think that will still benefit at the Annie Awards, and that will then lead to
Hmm.
the Oscars. I think the thing about the Oscars is that you have the whole Academy voting. And so
Yeah.
it's easier for 300 members of the Hollywood Foreign Press to watch The Boy and the Heron, especially given that they are the foreign press. They're more inclined to
Hmm.
maybe see those films and understand the Miyazaki films compared to,
Much smaller body.
the thousands of Oscar voters who
Yeah.
see Spider-Man. They know Spider-Man. We know that not every Academy member watches every film in the category, especially
Hmm.
animated feature, unfortunately. So I
Yeah.
do think that regardless of this win, I still think Boy and the Heron has a large hurdle to climb in order to win the
I
Oscar. I still think
I
Spider-Verse
agree.
is out front.
I agree. I do think the Oscars, it would be the first non-Toy Story sequel to win animated feature, right? Yeah.
Yes, it would be.
So deserving though, I think very in on the same quality level as that franchise, if not higher. But I do love the Toy Story movies.
They're wonderful.
Supporting actress, I think pretty much Divine Joy Randolph continuing to sweep. I think
Yeah, I
I don't
think
know
yeah, I think that what
if
again,
anyone's
I've
gonna
been
upset.
likening her campaign to Laurie Metcalf and Lady Bird. I think they're similar performances, very maternal, very emotional, very sensitive. And I rewatched The Holdovers with my family. We had a
Yeah,
great time, and it's a
yeah,
beautiful
it's a
film.
great family movie.
Yeah, and it's a great performance. I think that again,
Hmm.
I want to see. I think SAG is really going to decide that race because I really want to know once the industry starts to vote, are they going to go with Divine Joy Randolph? I think what helps her is that it might be the only place, like it was for Marriage Story with Laura Dern, to give the holdovers some love. If
Hmm.
Cillian Murphy starts to create a lead against Paul Giamatti, who I think really is the only person that could take it away from Killian, especially if Robert Downey
Yeah,
Jr. is tied up and they know Oppenheimer's being taken care of in the
I
acting
think
categories.
Bradley Cooper has definitely been pushed down to number 3 in actor, in
Yeah,
my opinion. I think it's Cillian Murphy likely sweep. If anyone's gonna upset, I do think it would honestly be Giamatti before
yeah.
it would be Bradley Cooper. But I
So
think Divine Joy Randolph. I think Allison Janney won the Golden Globe
she
that
did.
year. So I think Divine Joy Randolph, I mean, if she does end up losing somewhere, she probably won't win at BAFTA, but I won't take that too seriously. If she wins at BAFTA, then obviously she's winning.
Yeah.
But I imagine she'll win SAG, and then maybe Emily Blunt wins BAFTA. But
I mean,
I think
Devondre
it's
Randolph
probably
could win BAFTA as well. I think it's a
they
very
like the
enduring
holdovers more
performance.
than I would have expected with the nomination or long lists, not
Yeah.
nominations yet, that they gave it. So I think she could very well sweep. Any other categories? I think as we saw with both the actress categories, it's down to Stone and Lily Gladstone.
With
There was a
wait, can we pause?
yeah, yes.
The joy that that's who it's down. Like, not that it's
Hmm.
like if Terry Mulligan had won or Margot Robbie or whatever, but like
Yeah.
to have an actress race, even like all
Two of
these
the best
people. Like,
performances.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, this has got to be one of the like best caliber like collection of
Oh,
actors.
yeah.
Like we have Cillian Murphy and Paul Giamatti, and then we have Gladstone and Stone. Like we're
Hmm.
salivating at how good these
Hmm.
performances are that they have to compete. Is it's crazy, but I'm just what a cross section of performances we have.
Yes, a lot of riches. I did for a second think that it might have been Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a
Mhm.
Fall, just because it did so well. But Lily Gladstone has been the critics' pick so far. Sandra Hüller has surprisingly not won a ton of critic awards. So Lily Gladstone makes sense. What, like we said, I think probably if we were to award Best Speech of the Night, I think it would probably go
Yeah.
to Lily Gladstone.
And I
Um,
think like Divine Joy Randolph, Lily Gladstone is an easy way to honor Killers of the Flower Moon,
Award.
and you're
Hmm.
honoring the best part of that film. And I also and again, it's funny how also like the distance I've had since Killers of the Flower Moon, I'm excited to rewatch it once it hits Apple TV Plus next week because I do think that the movie is really showing how, yes, in her limited screen time, she is the movie, and the movie is
Hmm.
getting to. And I think, frankly, what kind of changed my mind about this a little bit is I heard Scorsese talk about how he takes culpability for the ending. Like he
Hmm.
knows that this is entertainment, just like the radio show is entertainment, and that he's
Yeah.
responsible for that as well. And I think the fact that Lily Gladstone is in lead again, we've debated that the screen time, the amount of times she's in the movie is one thing, but what it
Hmm.
means for her to be in lead and the fact that she's winning this award and she could win the Oscar, it's so important. And I think that her speech and what she talks about is great. Uh I just think it's wonderful for her, and I do think that it's an important moment. It's an important moment. So I'm
Yeah.
very
I
happy
think
for you
she's
as much as I love Emma
me.
Stone.
Yes, me too. I think she's the most important part of the film, which I think is what I think can qualify her for lead, even if the screen time isn't maybe quite there.
Yeah,
But I think if you look at the recognition from like the people applauding in the audience to the winners, I think Gladstone and Stone also probably had, at least from what I saw, the two biggest reactions in terms of
a lot of
applause
respect.
and standing ovations. A lot of respect for both of them. So yeah, that's I think a pretty tight race. We'll have to see. I think SAG will be the big determining factor there.
Definitely. If
So
Gladstone can win SAG, especially because Emma Stone has won there, and she's a very
mhm.
popular actor. If
Mhm.
Gladstone can win SAG, then I do think you have, a very competitive race because then the question is then it goes to BAFTA, and will Emma Stone, who's in a British film, does that benefit
Mhm.
her? Do they take points off because you're not actually British?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, again, I'm just going through. I think that listen, Oppenheimer winning 5 awards,
Mhm.
I think very justified. I mean, listen, if our ending quartet is Murphy, Gladstone, Downey, and Randolph,
It's a great
I think that's
quartet.
an all-timer, frankly. I think
Yeah.
that's a really nice quartet, and throw in Stone and
Mhm.
Giamatti as the potential upsets.
Both also great, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The only one I'm not a huge fan of, but I like him overall is Robert Downey Jr., but,
Yeah.
I mean, there's one of those with every season for most people, but still, I think a very deserving one. He's a very crucial part of that film. But, is there anything else? I think we probably hit all of the major categories from what
I
I can
mean,
think of.
What Was I Made For solidifies itself as the Barbie
Yeah,
standout, but we expected that.
mhm, yeah,
She's wonderful as always.
mhm.
Trying to think. I mean,
Covered
screenplay,
box
do we think
office.
that has any influence going forward, or we think this is a Golden
Um
Globes thing?
I've seen some people this is weird because most of the season I've been a big Anatomy of a Fall doubter. I've been
Mhm.
saying, "Oh, Sandra Hüller could miss actress, and then it could
You
end up
didn't
like
see it
worst person
though.
in the world." I
I
hadn't
think
seen
that's
it
part
yet.
of
That's fair.
it.
That's probably the big factor that allows me to switch up, but I have been a doubter. I saw it. I've now put it in like picture, actress, screenplay, all that stuff. And now it seems like other people who are very confident in it are now like thinking it could miss picture because it's very competitive. Um, but I still have it in there. I think this cements it as between that and Zone of Interest, I think it is the stronger of the two international films. I
Yeah.
think you even saw that with I forget it was like some European Film Award nominations, Anatomy of a Fall did the best. I think it appeals more to the American voters as well, as we've seen with that article
It's an
interviewing
easier
all those
sit than Zone
directors.
of Interest.
It
And
is, yeah.
it's the priority from its studio Neon compared to A24, which is prioritizing past
Juggling
lives,
too.
I believe.
And I
And
think yeah.
it has the Triangle of Sadness campaign. It won the Palme d'Or. It's a
Mhm.
respected film. It does well at some of the precursors, and, yeah, I just think that d we've talked about it on our top 10 list.
It's
It's
one
a
of the best films of
phenomenal
the year,
film.
deserving. And I love how Justine Triet, shouted out Milo for, one for his speeches.
That was nice.
Incredible performance, incredible performance. She also shouted out Snoop the dog,
I
also
knew you
incredible.
would like
Um,
that.
yeah, I love Snoop the dog and Milo, great combo. But yeah, I think that's pretty much anything. Any final thoughts on our first big awards ceremony as we head into the Emmys and
I know.
SAG nominations and PGA and DGA and all of
Um, I was just very happy to see 2 people on the TV side of the Succession Ensemble finally get
oh,
their
yes,
due,
TV, yeah.
which was Kieran
Sarah
Culkin and
Snook,
Sarah Snook, who that show is
also great speeches from those two.
yeah, um,
Kieran Culkin's
he
very funny.
he's very funny as always, but I just think that those 2, like, Jeremy Strong, Brian Cox, Matthew McFadden, they're incredible. But I
Mhm,
do think that what made that show really spark, especially in the later season and especially in
mhm,
season 4,
yeah,
was Kieran Culkin and Sarah Snook, and I'm glad that
mhm,
they are getting their due on the way out. You know, we talked about Ozark and that Laura Linney really never got her
mhm,
chance to take, the glory of that show. But of
yeah,
course, she had won awards in the past for other shows and other stuff, so it was fine.
yeah,
But I think I still have a little bit of PTSD that Lena Headey and Amelia Clark never got any roses for Game of
yeah,
Thrones, and so I'm glad
yeah,
that Sarah Snook and Kieran Culkin are getting their roses at the end, especially because I frankly believe that that last scene with the 3 siblings in the boardroom,
mhm.
like, all 3 of them needed an Emmy for that show
I mean,
after
the
that.
Connor's wedding episode as well. I mean,
That one
that
too.
is
I
just
think because I knew that was coming, that one
oh,
surprised
you
me
got that
less.
spoiled?
Yeah, I watched it late. I
Oh.
watched it with my family, so
Oh,
I had to wait for
okay.
them to catch up.
Oh, that
But
was
so
wild watching in real time.
oh my god. But yeah, so just that last scene when you really see that it all came down to this scene, I just thought
Kids
I was so
fighting.
impressed with, and I'm glad that
Yeah.
then those 2 won, and they gave great speeches, and, I also it was very funny that somebody said that Jeremy Allen White is winning his second Golden Globe for season 2 of The Bear before he's won his first Emmy for season 1.
Yep, it's
Um,
insane.
that's the Emmys for
That's
you.
just what happens with the Emmys getting delayed, like, what, 3/4 of a year?
Yeah.
But coming up very soon, we'll have to do our predictions at some point. But yeah, on the TV side, I mean, it was really just beef Bear, and Succession, and those are 3 of my
Yeah.
favorite shows of
And
the last
Elizabeth
year or
Debicki.
so. And Elizabeth Debicki for The Crown, which, having
Scary.
watched those last 2 seasons, not the strongest, probably the 2 weakest seasons of the show. 6 a little better than 5, but I think Elizabeth Debicki is undoubtedly, I think, the
Yeah.
best part of these final 2 seasons. So I'm happy to see her get recognized. Great actress. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for our Golden Globe thoughts. You'll be seeing a lot of us this week because there's a lot going on. So strap in and get ready. So yeah, subscribe if you want to stay tuned for all of that fun stuff. Comment your thoughts on all the Golden Globe winners down below, who gave your favorite speech, all that fun stuff. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye, everyone.